start the chant.
You're on mute.
Am I? Can you not hear me? Really?
I can hear you, but I can hear you from the bedroom.
That's weird. That's very, very, very weird. Okay, well, let me just,
I'll try it.
Alright, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to hear me now.
I can.
Alright. Well, let's go ahead and start the chant. Try that again. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and of love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Dwelling in the refuge of Buddha, I clearly see the path of light and beauty in the world. Dwelling in the refuge of Dharma, I open many doors on the path of transformation. Dwelling in the refuge of Sangha, shining light that supports me, keeping my practice free from obstruction. Taking refuge in the Buddha in myself, I aspire to help all people recognize their own awakened nature, realizing the mind of love. Taking refuge in the Dharma in myself, I aspire to help all people fully master the ways of practice, walk together on the path of liberation. Taking refuge in the Sangha in myself, I aspire to help all people build fourfold communities to embrace all beings and support their transformation. We'll bow 3 times. Offering of flowers. This spread of flowers, fresh, hued, and fragrant, I offer the sacred lotus feet of the noble sage, with flowers in great variety, the Buddha I adore. By this merit may I gain release. Even as these flowers must fade, my body too will pass away. Offering of light. With lights brightly shining, dispelling the gloom, I honor the fully awakened, that light of the triple world who dispels the gloom of ignorance. Offering of incense, perfumed with eminent qualities, the Tathagata, fragrant of face and form, I revere with incense, sweet and penetrating. Offering of water. We offer water, symbol of purity, to the Buddhas of all times. May this water both wash away the obscurations of ignorance and sate the thirst of craving and aversion. We'll bow 3 times. Notes on mindful breathing. Anapanasati is mindfulness on respiration. Ana means inhalation and apana means exhalation. Concentration on the breathing process leads to one pointedness of the mind and ultimately to insight, which enables one to attain liberation, freedom, and perfection. The Buddha practiced concentration on respiration before he attained enlightenment. But this beneficial meditation may be practiced by any person irrespective of religious beliefs. We will inhale through the nostrils normally without strain, without force. While doing so, the mind may wander, but one should not be discouraged. When a wandering thought is detected, label it as thinking and return to the breath. do a couple minute meditation practice.
Okay.
How long you want to go? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, an hour?
To you.
All right, a couple of minutes. We'll just see. You okay? Did you hear the bell? Oh. Did I have it on mute when I hit the bell? Scare you? Scarred? Were you scarred? Would you like to do a wellness check-in, Diane? How are you doing? How have you been since the last time we've seen each other? How's your week been? You're on mute. I can't hear you. Would you like to do a wellness check-in? How's your week been going?
It's going good. I'm glad today is Saturday.
You glad today's Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. How can we support you today to make your Saturday more enjoyable?
Just by being here. Just by being here.
Well, we appreciate you coming today. It's always a pleasure to have you in group.
I'm so glad you're here today.
I'm glad you're here today. Should I quiz you?
On what?
Were you in the group when we talked about the Fool?
Yes.
What are some of the things that you remember from those discussions?
That he was naive.
Okay, naive. What else? Is that a good thing or a bad thing to be naive?
Depends on what you're jumping into. Anyway, he has blind faith.
Blind faith that everything's going to turn out all right for this dude, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's tripping through the mountainside with garish clothing. He looks like he's going to the dance, right?
Yep. He's on his way.
Nothing can stop him.
He's either on his way to the heavens or the hells. That's why he's on the cliff.
Maybe both at different times.
Possibly.
What is some good things about naivete? How do you say it? Naivete?
Naivete.
Yeah.
Naivete.
About being naive in life. Our youth.
You feel less anxiety, less fear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, being naive, you do, not necessarily being youthful.
So is it always a negative connotation to be called a fool? Or
no?
We're not making fun of this guy. I mean, obviously he's setting out on his path, A lot of people never even leave home or do anything. This guy's got his little bag and he's taking off. He's got his little golden boots.
He does.
And
he's ready to go find a mattress.
Go find a mattress for his bad back. Believe me, he's too youthful to have a bad back. He's got many years before.
Look how he's stepping.
Before he's trading those golden boots in for slippers, right? But in some ways, looking back from age at where you started on your path,
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's magical to look back over your life and remember yourself when you started out, how many magical things had to happen to get you here to where you're at, And I think that's what this card represents, is at any time, at any age, you can start off on a new path. And all you have to have is hope and confidence and be a little naive. And you can accomplish everything, right? And then we talked about Buddha. Buddha started his adventure by leaving home. He renounced all his wealth. Buddha would have became a king. And instead he became a homeless drifter. He dedicated his life to religious studies and looking within and seeking enlightenment. And because of him leaving home and denouncing, is that how you say it? Denouncing? Turning down the kingdom, he found, let me say it this way. By refusing to become king, he found a kingdom within himself. And now we reap the benefits, or millions of people around the world reap the benefits of Buddha's naive journey to enlightenment, right? Next flashcard. Pow! Were you here when we talked about the magician?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the thoughts or feelings you had around that? Do you remember anything?
Oh. The tools available to make an informed decision.
He's got the tools on the table in front of him to make an informed decision? Okay. What else?
I don't know, he's got the infinity thing on top of his head. I don't remember what that meant. There's infinite possibilities.
Infinite possibilities, infinite time. Having all the time and wisdom you need to make those decisions. What else? Anything? He's pointing up and pointing down. What does that mean?
That he's somewhere between heaven and earth.
Something like that.
I thought that was considered purgatory.
I think it has to do with like what the human is somewhere between let's say connected to the supernatural and the spiritual, but still grounded on earth.
Mm.
You're connected to infinity. You're connected to the universe. But you'll live out all of your hopes and dreams on this earth, grounded to this earth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so it says that the fool goes on the journey, and it's like stages. So you start off and become wiser, older and wiser, and finally get to a place where you open up that bag on the stick, and inside of that bag or inside of yourself is everything that you need at this juncture in your life. Right?
Yeah.
Now the next one is the Hierophant.
I can't see it.
Oh, actually, you know what? I can, I don't know how good your phone... Are you on your phone?
I'm not on my phone. I'm on my iPad.
Oh, really? Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So what you see is a teacher, somebody that looks like maybe a spiritual leader or pope or priest. And then down here at the bottom you see two students. So it could almost be like the Catholic Church or some type of religion. And you have the head of the order. And then you have some students down below listening. And the priest is wearing a crown or like a pope's hat. They're holding a scepter. They're holding their fingers in a religious, like, what do you call that? A mudra. Like a teaching mudra. Or a blessing mudra. And then there's pillars on each side that show stability. If you look down at the bottom, there's keys. I hear you yawning so hard. You okay?
I know, I'm sorry. I'm just, I keep yawning. I don't know why.
I see the keys down there, like the keys of the kingdom. Or holding the keys to maybe salvation, the keys to wisdom, the keys to the religious order, the secrets, keys to the secrets, something like that.
Why are the keys underneath them?
So there's just hidden symbols all over the place. They're probably like supposed to be engraved on that throne. maybe the key, it might be significant of, everything is debatable, right? What it means, right? So, they say that when Jesus defeated the devil, he took the keys to Hades or hell, and so that he could lock the devil up in hell, and Jesus has the keys, so there's all kind of significance to keys. But what I wanted to do, what's some of your thoughts that arise when you see this card? Any thoughts?
They're very biased thoughts, so I don't know that I should.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
It makes me feel it very much resembles a church type thing. I don't like it at all.
Yeah. And
Somebody
why?
higher than the others telling them what they should be doing.
Somebody higher than the others telling them what they should do. Yeah.
Yeah, and the students are looking at him for whatever he's going to pass on to them. You just have to hope that, he's not some sleazeball.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's interesting, right? So, everybody has their own interpretation or their own gut feeling when they see these cards, That's the magic about these tarot cards, right? Is that they're so full of symbolism that you can look at them when you're 13 and think something. You look at them when you're 30, when you're 43, when you're 53, when you're 63, and they will still talk to you. And so your initial feeling about this is like revulsion, right? Because it reminds you of somebody higher than somebody else, somebody holier than thou, trying to dictate to the people lower, the students, what they should do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually the kind of what the conclusion I came to as well, is that, when you start off in life, you get to a place where you're ready to start making your own decisions and working your own magic and finding out who you are and what you want in life. One of your first challenges is that you're going to be pushed to conform to something that's already existing. You're going to be told by society that you should become this or that, or follow this religion or that religion, or conform to something. There's always going to be some kind of authority that is going to say you don't actually have the magic and you can't actually trust yourself and your own wisdom. You need to conform to what we're doing. Whether it's a university or a religion or anything, it'll come in and try to dictate to you your truth and your wisdom. And so that's one of the first challenges that somebody faces. It's the temptation to conform to society and accept somebody else's wisdom. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me, you're yawning pretty hard, so I'll speed up.
No, honey, it's not. I'm just, I don't know why, but my eyes are really tired.
So in this book that we're looking at, Buddha and the Tarot Cards, it says that, and this is something that I ran into as well. In Buddhism, they say that it's in Zen Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism that the guru or the roshi, the lama, is like your leader. Like you have to conform and be in complete obedience to that leader, that guru, almost to the point that guru or that teacher is more important than the Buddha, because the Buddha is not in the flesh anymore, but your teacher is in the flesh. And so you should visualize your teacher, your Lama, your spiritual leader as the Buddha themselves, a manifestation of the Buddha themselves, even that in Tibetan Buddhism, there's certain type of meditation that you do that is guru yoga. And you're venerating your teacher, your Lama, or other Lamas that have lived before, or teachers that have lived before. And then you're visualizing that they're pouring their wisdom into you. But at the end of that meditation, surprisingly, you become that Lama. You become that. Whatever you're putting up there on the pedestal and whatever you're visualizing as the manifestation of wisdom, at the end of that meditation, you become that thing that you're venerating. But they don't talk to you about that too much. Basically, it's about putting the teacher, the person in the flesh, up on that pedestal. And I think I'm doing this a disservice. I'm actually going to read it. In both Zen and Vajrayana Buddhism, the Roshi, the Guru, the Lama commands the complete and unquestioned obedience of his or her students, to the point where they are regarded as the fourth refuge. After the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, you take refuge in the teacher. Within Zen, the pupil is expected to demonstrate absolute trust towards their teacher and respect them as much as their own father. The teacher not only transmits the Dharma, but provides an example of an enlightened practice, a living practice. Thus, the pupil's relationship with the teacher is more intimate than his or her relationship with the Buddha. So that's what kind of what I wanted to talk about today. You had a visceral repulsion kind of to this card, and I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a lie. I think it's the first temptation to pull you off of your track, to pull you away from your quest. In the hero's journey, it's in all these myths, in Harry Potter and the Knights of the Round Table and every kind of movie that you see. It's this quest that people go out on this adventure, and they face all these different temptations that will pull them away from their ultimate quest or the ultimate goal, right? And that's why I say, when I saw this card, I saw it as one of your first temptations, or one of your first barriers, something that you have to overcome, is you have to resist the temptation of believing that somebody knows more than you about your journey. Now, I'm trying to say this in the correct words, right? Because we learn from people. Obviously, I study the Bible, I study, Buddhist books, I read stuff that great teachers throughout time have written. But their knowledge, their insight is always going to be their insight. I can't live their enlightenment. They can't win my salvation for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If it's welding or anything, you can find a teacher, a mentor, and learn from them. But ultimately, they're going to step away, and you have to make whatever you learned your own, right? You will never be happy doing it 100% like them. I don't care if it's welding or facilitating, or being a tech, or any of the things that you might do with your life. You might have a great teacher, but ultimately, until that thing becomes your own, you haven't mastered it, And so the temptation to follow another and put them up on a pedestal and say, I'm just going to do whatever they say and believe what they believe and say, you know, that's ultimately the very first way that you can be coaxed off of your own path. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's the end of your journey. You join that order, you join that religion, you join that whatever, and then you conform to them. You are no longer on the path of independence or self-realization.
Mm.
Now you've conformed to somebody else's vision, somebody else's path, right? And so it talks about that in Tibetan Buddhism and Vajrayana, but Zen Buddhism, revering the teacher. And I'm not trying to be anything disrespectful as far as that, because teachers are certainly important, obviously. But at some point, you know, you have to become the teacher yourself. You have to find the wisdom within yourself. You have to find your own enlightenment, you know? So it says, and that's what I was going to say, in the early Buddhist scriptures, before there was Zen, before there was Vajrayana, let's say, those seeds were always there in Buddhism, but the very first scriptures, the scriptures of the elders are Vajrayana, Theravadan Buddhism. The Buddha was saying, I am not the leader of this Sangha. I am not, you know, you should find your own truth. Don't believe anything that I say. Question everything that I say. You know, Buddha was actually telling everyone, I can't win your salvation for you. I can't win your enlightenment for you. And Buddha didn't even see himself as a leader of the order. He saw himself just as another monk. You know? And so in the book it says, Buddhism recognizes the inadequacy of certain teachers and teachings, particularly those based on dogmatic traditions, hearsay, or popularity. Let's see. He advised that they should reject the 10 traditional sources of authority and belief, including trusting the reputation of others or how attractive or popular other teachers are. He says so much popularity or you know, the fame of a certain teaching or teacher doesn't mean they're right just because they're popular. You know, so don't let that deceive you. It says the Buddha recognized that the path to enlightenment, ultimately someone must walk alone, when oneself as the only true master of their own transformation. A man or a woman is their own helper. Who else can help? Shortly before his death, Buddha encouraged his followers not to mourn his passing, nor to panic about who would be their new teacher. Instead, they should adopt a stance of self-reliance. Buddha said, therefore, O Ananda, be a lamp unto yourselves. Rely on yourselves. Do not rely on external help. Hold fast to the truth as a lamp. Seek salvation alone in the truth. Look not for assistance to any other besides yourself. So, I respect all these different Buddhist traditions and all this stuff. Oh, God. Sorry, my computer kind of screwed up. And as you know, I followed a Lama for years, you know, with great respect. But it just goes back to the principle of, you know, it's almost, once again, it's like you'll never find out who you are until you leave home. Till you break away from whatever tradition, teacher, leader, guru, lama, you know, set ideas that you learned from childhood. You have to. There has to be destruction before there's construction. You know, everything has to fall apart before it can fall back together. And by believing and sitting in a pew your whole life, just looking up, looking up from a pew for the rest of your life, you can learn that way, but only you can practice that or integrate it into your life. You have to, once again, make it your own. Do you have any thoughts or any ideas or maybe closing thoughts about all this?
No, that was an interesting way of looking at that.
Mm-hmm. Trusting the universe and stepping out on faith and trying something if you really want it and you feel led, and not doing things just because you feel forced to do them. Everything has to pass the sniff test. You have to follow your own gut, All right.
Like when buying a house.
Yeah, all of the above, yep. All right, you ready to do the chant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh. Contemplation of the 10 perfecting qualities. May I be generous and helpful. May I be pure and virtuous and well-disciplined. May I not be selfish. May I be strenuous and energetic and persevering. May I be patient. May I be able to bear and forbear the wrongs of others. May I be honest and truthful. May I be firm and resolute. May I be kind, compassionate, friendly. May I be humble, calm, quiet, unruffled, and serene. Discourse on loving kindness. Just as a mother would protect her only child even at her own life's risk, so let everyone cultivate a boundless heart towards all beings. Let our hearts of boundless love pervade the whole world, so that all beings without exception might be happy. Closing dedication of merit. If I have attained any merit by the result of this practice, may it be accredited to all beings everywhere. May they find the source of suffering and extinguish it. May they find the source of happiness and increase it. May all beings dwell in ultimate, unalloyed nibbana. The Sangha will bow to each other with smiles of gratitude. Final bell. Final bell. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. Love you. I hope I can get together with you maybe for lunch sometime. Have a cup of coffee.
Fabulous.
All right. Well, let's get together. All right.
All right.
All right. Have a wonderful day. And remember, be
Bye.
kind. Be kind to the people in your life today.
Be kind to the people in my life.
Yeah.
I guess I can try that.
And have
There's a cat.
And have a happy positive day. Okay?
I will.